One scientist who assists the military in researching the UFO phenomenon is Yuri Semyakov, a professor of marine biology in Moscow. He has investigated several incidents of alleged UFO landings across the country, analyzing soil samples and vegetation to find out if there is any noticeable change in their properties.
We studied
more than 12 landing sites in the vicinity of Moscow, and I also examined a number of sites from which samples were actually brought.
One incident which Semyakov studied in detail occurred at Podreshkovo near Moscow in 1979.
An extraordinary event took place here 10 years ago. We visited this site several times because of reports that a UFO landed. There was a train passing by, and two people saw this UFO, and they were astounded by what they saw. After that, we came here and studied the site. I personally supervised several biological experiments. I brought some insects here, ants, flies, and even worms, and studied how they reacted to the site. That is, did they change their normal pattern of behavior? Something very interesting happened to the vegetation. It dried up. Now, of course, it has grown again and covered everything over, but at the time the trees withered immediately and quickly turned yellow, and now all that is left are tree stumps. And further away over there, the trees are still dying.
After more than 10 years of scientific study, what conclusions can be drawn in answer to the UFO mystery?
This is an extremely difficult question to answer. I can't just say they were alien spacecraft, although such an explanation cannot be ruled out. It's possible, as many people think, that there are several different solutions to this entire phenomenon.
Но обычно мы стараемся, чтобы были свидетели. Значит, лучше, если бывает несколько свидетелей, которые фиксируют это место. А затем мы проводим параллельные исследования, то есть делаем биолокацию, и либо радиометрическими методами определяем место посадки НЛО. Там характерно было то, что была вдавлена почва, как бы огромный каток был поставлен на почву диаметром 4 метра. Почва была вдавлена на 5 сантиметров. Это пока говорит о очень большом весе НЛО. И НЛО представляло собой, как по следам, по рассказам очевидцам, колбу. Эта колба была как бы на ножке, стояла на поляне и возвышалась даже над лесом на 5 метров. И что для этого пришлось сделать небольшой аппарат. Он заключался в том, что мы взяли камеру, в этой камере была мембрана, и в эту камеру помещались мухи. Но мухи какие? Дрозофилы, бескрылая линия. Мухи могли только бегать по этой мембране, но не могли летать. Далее шел усилитель, и все это прослушивалось наушниками. Получалось так. Достаточно было, вот в частности эти исследования проведены также в Шараповой охоте, было достаточно войти в зону посадки НЛО, как мухи возбуждались. Достаточно было выйти из зоны посадки, мухи опять затихали. Обычно в темноте, в камере, в которой они находятся, они ведут себя тихо и не двигаются. Таким образом, мы можем создать и биоиндикатор, который работает на основе использования насекомых, которые очень чувствительны к различным полям и изменению полей.
These are soil samples taken from 5 recent UFO landing sites and are fairly representative of some 200 to 300 UFO landing sites that I have personally been involved with.
Each of the pins in this map represents a UFO landing site that has been reported to Ted Phillips in the last 8 years. There are over 150 UFO landing sites represented on this map.
I've investigated a rather high percentage of these reports personally and have found a remarkable consistency in size and shape regarding the UFO scene and the ground effects resulting from that UFO landing. We find imprints left evidently by the landing gear of the object, some of these indicating tremendous pressure, great weight, generally found as 3 or 4 in number, arranged in either a triangular or rectangular pattern. We have effects on witnesses, such as the witnesses suffering what appears to be a sunburn effect on their face, neck, and hands, following the close approach of a UFO. Extreme dryness of the nasal area, extreme dryness of the throat. I have talked with nearly 2,000 people who have had a UFO experience. And those people certainly have convinced me that something very real is going on.
This is a small portion of the soil taken from a UFO landing site in Delphos, Kansas. The soil in the UFO landing ring is extremely dehydrated and is unable to absorb water. Instead, it simply floats. Soil taken only a few feet away that was not part of the UFO landing ring behaved normally. Within a few seconds, it absorbed the water that we poured on it. Besides being unable to absorb water, UFO-affected soil cannot support seed germination and plant life. Soil taken a few feet away does support normal plant growth. No matter how vivid a hallucination is, it cannot dehydrate soil. 80% of the descriptions of a UFO in Ted Phillips' files are of a disc-shaped object between 10 and 35 feet in diameter. Over 400 of the landing cases in these files involve more than one witness observing a UFO for longer than 1 minute at a distance of less than 250 feet.
We're talking about people, police officers, clergymen, newsmen, business people, people in all walks of life from all parts of the country who have had real UFO experiences, and in many cases at very close range. The interesting thing is that these people could witness a murder, could go into court, testify to that effect, put a man away for life, and yet those same people have a UFO experience and their testimony is no longer valid. That's certainly a very strange set of double standards that we have in this country. It's difficult to understand. During the past 10 years, I've talked with over 24 military personnel who have confidentially relayed cases involving not only landings very near or on military installations in this country, but also cases involving physical residue. In one instance, an individual assured me that he had personally seen to the transmission of this report to Project Blue Book, and this was a report involving a landing and quite a number of witnesses, security personnel. And if one is to check the Blue Book files, the files that have been open to the public, those cases are not there, not a single case.